Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Amadeus. Welcome to Behind the Show. I'm not the star of this show. These two guys are, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt Lee and Jeff Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Get Show. Look at this.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
This is it.
Oh, yeah. Thursday night,
where it's at. Got a cup of coffee going. It's actually water, whatever. The show, you can get it. Pro Wrestling.
They are beautiful shirts, by the way. You got to order those shirts. And remember, every time you order the shirts, you're helping these guys out. And baby's coming. So I'm just saying, you got to order some shirts. But they also look really nice. I got to
tell you. The baby is coming. We're 1 centimeter dilated today. 1 centimeter.
Big day.
Really?
Big day.
Yeah, 1 centimeter.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I could be a father right now. Who knows?
Right now.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Well, we got a show to do, so.
No pressure on the show tonight. So on the show tonight, we are talking a few different things. There you go, just in case. We are talking COVID. Hopefully, this doesn't get our show booted off of YouTube. You never know.
You think that could happen?
You never know. Things are kind of strange these days when it comes to streaming and things of that nature. But we are not getting into any conspiracy theories. We are talking about wrestling with COVID. What happened in 2020? What happened in 2021? Continues to happen. And hopefully what doesn't happen soon. Plus, we got lots of really interesting news. We're going to talk about CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. Well, what's his real name?
Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson. See, that's
Come on, let's get it together. We're running a professional operation over here.
It's gonna trip me up for a bit. And the big death match that happened on AEW last night. Definitely want to get everybody's thoughts, your thoughts as well. Obviously, two professional wrestlers, one of the greatest tag teams of the modern era.
A little controversy. Did you see the Dominoes?
Yeah,
weird, right?
We talked about that beforehand, but I actually watched that live.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Nick Gage was taking the little pizza cutter to Chris Jericho. And by the way, Chris Jericho, I mean,
dude, hats off.
What a badass, right?
Props. I mean, at his age, to be in the shape that he's in, amazing. To be the performer that he is, amazing. And then he doesn't have to do these types of matches. And for that performance, wow.
He's just always giving you something different. Like, he's been around for so long, but you're always getting something different. It's spectacular.
And it's like last night he did the death match with Nick Gage, and then they announced Juventud for next week.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do, like try to recreate
the Lionheart?
98
Lionheart?
WCW, the Lionheart. Yeah.
Why not, right?
Right? Yeah. So they'll do one of those matches. Jericho,
it was amazing. 50, I think he is 50. He was turning either 49 or 50. And anyways, it was honestly remarkable. And if you haven't seen the match, I really hope you tune in. If you're in Canada, TSN. If you're in the States, TNT.
Oh, yeah.
Give them their due because, AEW, I was going to say A&E. AEW is really pulling out all the stops, and they are performing extremely well. So the pizza slicer. So the controversy, the pizza slicer came on while Nick Gage was doing the spot and went to commercial. And while they were cutting the Jericho forehead, picture in picture, they also showed a Domino's, and you can't predict this.
No, I thought it was like product placement.
You can imagine that's real tomato sauce there, but I mean, come on. I mean, and then you see the actual pizza cutter cutting the actual pizza at the same time. I mean, it was just you can't plan those things.
No.
So
Perfect.
It is perfect. It is perfect. How would you feel,
Not
though,
for
Aaron?
Domino's.
Aaron, how would you feel if you were Domino's?
I would say, hey, this is not so great, but also no such thing as bad publicity, right? I mean, why not?
I mean, I don't think anybody who's watching AEW in that moment is saying, and maybe they didn't like it. I don't think they're blaming Domino's.
No.
Oh, Domino's.
You're blaming Domino's. I think you have a little bit more of a problem that you're just blaming everything on somebody
Right?
else.
Yeah.
But Domino's had nothing to do with that. That's just a timing issue. And anybody who works in television knows Domino's purchased
a Domino's pizza.
I was
now.
going to order Domino's, and now it's over Domino's.
Oh, well, at least it wasn't stuffed, cheese stuffing there. It would have been a little bit different in terms of the visual. So we want to welcome everybody to the show. We're going to be talking about COVID, wrestling COVID, being in NXT, the ThunderDome, what that was like. As always, you are more than welcome and encouraged to participate in our show. We know we got some feedback last week about the chat. We promise we are going to be more interactive on the chat. We are going to do our best. We've got 2 new people that are working with us in our show. We've got Thomas and we've got Brett. They've been doing a wonderful job. We really appreciate all of it. Appreciate all the work that these guys have been doing, and you're going to start seeing more clips. Kind of like Joe Rogan, where he cuts up certain clips. So you're going to see that on our channel, and as well, if you're interested in volunteering in the show, being a moderator on our on the chat, please just email us. Email is on the screen, theshowrules@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on the show right now, talk about what it was like in COVID, talk about all these situations, talk about AEW, anything you want to talk about, just email us and we'll get you live on the show. You can interact. And a little bit later on the show, I keep saying the show, a little bit later on.
Show. That's our name. Tell us what we got coming up, Aaron.
We got Georges Laraque from
Georges Laraque.
Oh, yeah.
Former NHL star himself.
Badass. He is a badass.
NHL
badass. Tough guy. Enforcer. Can we say enforcer? Do you think does enforcer would he take that as an insult?
I don't think.
He
I
did
think
play.
the only thing these guys take as insults would probably be goon.
That wasn't a goon. No. I think he scored over 10 goals one year.
Yeah.
He had a hat trick.
Dude, right?
You can play.
George had a hat trick. I mean, how many guys? There are tough guys, and then there are the enforcers. And when you have an enforcer to get a hat trick, I mean, that was a natural hat trick too.
Yeah.
So he played. He was like Sidney Crosby's enforcer basically in 08.
Yep.
He protected Sid the Kid there when Sid was still a kid.
That's a very valuable position.
Yeah, he went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 times. He went with Pittsburgh and he went with the Edmonton Oilers. And and also, I mean, he's known, for being a Montreal Canadian and being the Habs. So I mean, there's a lot of good stuff we can talk about today about that. And then as Sambuca says, one of the slowest guys on the ice. Well, hey. But you know what, Sambuca? One of the nicest guys.
One of the nicest guys.
One of the nicest guys.
Can't wait to talk to George.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be a hoot.
Got a lot of questions.
A legend as we get, being more interactive right now in the chat. This is great. So we've got some news. So let's talk a little bit about the news. Once again, get on the show, theshowrules@gmail.com. We'll send you the link to participate on the program. So let's talk a little bit about the news. So I watched AEW live last night. Thankfully, I didn't watch it with my daughter. She slept over somewhere because that main event, that was something to really watch and to really be like, wow, I can't believe those guys did that. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? You guys are performers. You're watching a match like that. What goes into the psyche when you're a bona fide superstar and that you got to prep because you're going out there with a guy who does cage match with death matches, a guy who's clinically been dead, went to prison, all those things. What is in your mind when you're going into a ring like that with someone? How do you book a match like that?
So I mean, even beyond that, it's somebody that you've never worked with.
Oh yeah.
So
probably right?
No matter what you're doing, there's always that, you got to get to know the way somebody moves. And so when you've worked with somebody enough, it's like that's second nature, right? So there's that apprehension first and foremost with all that other stuff.
The first thing I thought about was we touched on it a bit earlier. Jericho is a star, right? Been around 25 years, 30 years, whatever it is, does not have to do this. He doesn't have to do this. He's just doing it because he loves it. Passion. He still has something to prove. You know what I mean? And his entrance was unbelievable, right? He came out with the mask and Judas was playing, and there's a sold out crowd like singing the song. It was special. Last night felt special. You know what I mean? And it's a match you're not going to see. You're not going to see all the time, right? No. Nick Gage.
Yeah.
You know, coming in with a death match.
And not even that you're not going to see. You didn't even know you wanted to see it.
You didn't even
until
know
they put it out there. You're like, oh, actually, I do want to see this.
Right?
I want to see this.
So let me ask you, Aaron. They did the light tubes and all that stuff, right? Light tubes, glass. As somebody like who's seeing that for the first time, what do you think somebody's reaction would be? As like maybe like I'm a fair weather wrestling fan.
The first time you ever put it on.
It's the first time watching AEW. I don't know. Like, would people love it? Is that I don't know.
I think it's a very good point. I think there's
it's different, and it's definitely.
I think there's a reason it was on last.
Yeah.
I think AEW is going for that different demographic than the WWE obviously is. I think that they are great at storytelling. I think if you are a casual fan of sports and you're tuning into TNT and you're seeing a couple of light bulbs being broken and stabbed into someone's head, your first gut reaction is like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then the second reaction is, what is this? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that Chris Jarrett? Is that, you
right?
know?
Yeah.
And so you see the crowd going crazy, right? You see the crowd like losing it. So that kind of sucks you in too.
And like for the most part, most people know what professional wrestling is, right? They've seen it at one time or another. So, you know, professional wrestling, you put on professional wrestling, you go, oh, that's the professional wrestling.
Right.
But now you turn it on and you see this and it's like, oh, this is not the wrestling I'm used to seeing. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. So it immediately, whether it turns you off or turns you on, it does grab your attention.
I love that they had the balls to do something like that, right? Yeah. Let's go out. Let's be different. Like WWE is not going to be doing something like that on primetime television. No. So they're taking risks. They're taking chances, you know, and I love it.
Well, that's that famous line by Vince McMahon when he was on an earnings call and they said, well, are you worried about AEW? And he's like, no one wants to watch those blood and guts, which became obviously one of the names of their shows and their pay-per-views, right? So, you know what? It's there for an audience and it's not there for an audience. But AEW needs to bring in a hardcore belt, or they need to do something because they have so much talent. They need to get some more belts. We had a message over here from Wrestling Scoop. It says, seems like a lot of fans in the arena were disengaged. That's interesting. I mean, I didn't notice that, but you know what? Everybody's going to look at that a little bit differently.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that either.
Also, at the same time, you also have to factor in if you're sitting there, again, a pure wrestling fan is going to be like ravenous about this. If you're just coming because your buddy's going or, you know, you brought your girlfriend over, there's that sitting of and taking it in of like, wow, what, like, I don't know what I'm seeing. So it doesn't breed that, oh yeah, feeling like you would at a hockey game or something like that. It's you're actually sitting and watching. Sometimes like Cirque du Soleil, like they're doing stuff. I'm not losing my mind. I'm just looking there like, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah. And then if you're trying to get certain people to watch the show, I mean, if you watch wrestling in 97, 8, 99, you're very used to seeing blood. I mean,
and it was very like they're obviously going for like that testosterone male like audience, I think, you know, especially by doing something like that. Like,
have you guys ever like bladed and when after you've bladed, like, you know, it was a deep cut that you weren't like, oh,
bladed. What's bladed?
I don't know.
What's that? Do you know what bladed? I don't know.
Bladed?
Like rollerbladed. Do you? What's that? I rollerblade all the time.
Getting a little color.
Yeah, well, I've rollerbladed and skinned my knee before, so yes, to answer your question, yeah.
What is the secrets of pro wrestling?
Well, I mean, it's not a secret. Everybody knows it. Sometimes when they turn the camera around, you're seeing the guy take it out. But yeah.
So I've never done it. He's never done it. You know,
really?
I've done thumbtacks.
Oh, you have done thumbtacks. That's right, you psycho.
They're not fun.
Not fun.
They're really not fun. Like landing in them. So the funny thing is, if you land them, you'd figure that's the worst of it. It is not. It's when you're doing pins or getting pinned and getting up, and you get one somewhere here.
That's something
or here or in your fingers. So it's those areas that hurt the most.
They were smart enough last night. The ref had gloves on.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you see these matches with the thumbtacks, the refs don't have gloves. So they're doing the count right into the tacks.
And that's what sucks.
Hey, it's for the business.
More than anything.
You're doing it for the business, you know?
Wow. Passion. You know? Yeah, wow. That. Yes, as someone points out in the chat, Aaron, I didn't know that you did bumps and you took bumps. I actually did, okay? And there's actually a show that I did.
Right.
Yes, there is a show that I did in 1999 where I wrestled, and one day we will watch it on YouTube and have a reaction and a good laugh at my expense, and I'm all good for that. So no problem on that. T-Bird says, better than tax and trying to remove the bottom rope for a choke slam. Spot Jeff.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Better the tax or trying to remove the bottom rope. Oh, I see what it is.
What is he making an inside joke?
He's making an inside joke.
Good one, Tony.
Yes. I'd rather fail at taking the bottom rope off than take a thumbtack bump, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk. I mean, main topic of today is going to be COVID. This is the
pandemic era.
The pandemic era. The first show where I remember Hunter started the show and there was no one in there and it was surreal. And I remember for the first time watching wrestling and saying, okay, well, maybe this is my escape at this one moment. And, I'd love to hear what other wrestling fans think as well. Watching the show and all of a sudden feeling kind of claustrophobic at the same time. It was a really strange feeling knowing that no one else was there, and it made me feel a little bit weird. And then to think I felt kind of embarrassed for the wrestlers because they were coming out. I did, because they were coming out, they had their music, and I'm like, they're putting on this big show knowing that there's literally nobody staring at them.
Especially that first show where everyone was still acting like there's a lot of people. Like they're still looking out and doing it like as if it's an arena full of people because it's just force of habit, I guess.
There's no playbook on how to do it, right? No. It's the first time it's ever really been done.
Yeah.
So you're just figuring it out on the fly, I remember.
How was it told to you? Okay, guys, Everrise, you're up, and there's no one in the building, and this is your first match in the pandemic era.
Well,
it was just established by then. Like there was never.
We had our first match maybe. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks after. I think was the first one with Gallows and Anderson.
Yes,
I think it was.
Yes,
right?
It was on main event, and there was never a meeting to be like, "Hey, here's what we're doing, guys." Because remember, they set up the performance center. With fans, right? So there's that first
because they wanted to do for NXT,
right?
Because Full Sail was sold. I don't know. There was an event at Full Sail, so NXT that week was going to be at the Performance Center, and we had a full house.
Yeah. So you're thinking like this is what it's going to be like because you don't know how bad the situation is.
But then the next day they're like.
Right, because we just thought maybe, so we'll move into the Performance Center for a little bit while, so not as much traveling and stuff. Okay. And then it was just the next show that was there after that NXT was just
no more people.
Nothing.
So that was on, I guess, a Wednesday. And then by SmackDown Friday, it was over. Like there was no more people. Everything shut down. There was actually a tryout at the Performance Center going on. Our buddy, Dasher Hatfield, we were talking about this the other day. He had a tryout. And everybody gets there Wednesday. They check in, whatever. They take their weight, do a little like a physical.
Yeah.
Thursday, they come in promo class and you're going to run some drills or whatever. And after the promo class, there's just a big meeting. And they're like, guys, tryouts canceled.
Not doing it.
No, it's over. Everybody has to go home. The world is shutting down. The world. And it did, right? The world shut down.
So at this point, what was were you guys worried? I mean, I'm sure this is the beginning of the pandemic. There's just a lot of information people didn't know at that point. Okay. Yeah. Really a lot about the virus, about what was going on. So was family, you're married. Was everybody concerned at this point?
I was honestly, I was never really concerned. I never thought twice about it. I was like, I'm young, I'm healthy. Actually, you know what? That's not true. Because that first week, I remember taking a
Lysol
wipe and rubbing down the steering wheel and stuff. I was just talking about this with my
wearing gloves in places just because you have no idea what you're dealing with. And then there's the added thing of we're all the way down south now from Montreal, so our families are all back home.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child. My father passed away, so my mom's alone.
Yeah.
So that's there's nobody there to help her, and I'm kind of stranded here. I can't do anything about it. So that became, to me, more the concern than there's this virus. It's this is shutting down my ability to do anything for my family. I can't say, hop on a plane, come here, I'll take care of you. There's no options.
Yeah. But to bring it back around to, I guess, wrestling, I remember when we got the call that we were going to do this match taped before Raw against Gallows and Anderson. This is March of 2020. And I didn't feel any nerves because there was no people, because it just didn't feel real.
No.
I don't know if that makes sense. We're taping for the main roster in front of Vince, in front of all the big wigs and everything. But it wasn't like being flown to a city and you're going to be in front of 10,000 people. I didn't feel that anxiety at all.
And there's no energy going into it either because you're going into just emptiness.
Yeah.
Last week you talked about like, things are so polished when you walk out, you know where to turn, you don't have to do this because the camera's falling. Was there extra emphasis now on you need to make contact with your eyes over here? You need to pay more attention to this because
it was just kind of make noise. Yeah. I remember the edict being try to make more noise, talk trash,
be animated. It was big on the trash talk. That was a big thing. They're like, seeing as no one's there, like you guys
have to make the noise.
Yeah. So that was the big thing they wanted.
So what about those who were used to calling matches in the ring? That I'm sure that was kind of like, okay, guys, don't do that.
Yeah, that's kind of out the window for the most part, right? I mean, some people still do. Like I'm sure Randy and Edge when they had that
for sure,
like that 45-minute match.
Oh, there's no way they planned that.
No.
Two pros like that.
But you do have to be conscious of where the cameras are at that time, right? And not call because it's going to pick up everything. But they're pros. They're the best in the world at what they do. Those camera.
But you also almost become so much more aware of the cameras in that aspect because you don't have the distraction of this live audience.
Yeah.
These are the only people moving around you. So it's easy to spot a guy who's pointing a camera. If I'm, on the ground, I can see him there because I'm not trying to connect with a large audience. I'm not playing to this large audience. Now I know I have 6 cameras.
Yeah.
That's my audience.
And they help you out. Yeah.
Did you find it a little bit easier because you were a tag team versus, just one-on-one in the ring?
I think it's definitely easier to make noise when you're in a tag team, right? Because one guy's just on the apron, you know what I mean? And you could yell at each other, yell at the opponents, yell at the ref. You have 4
people to play with instead of 2. So I feel like it did make it a little bit easier.
I think from an atmosphere standpoint, like multiple man matches, definitely way better.
Gotcha.
In an empty arena.
So let's talk about the first time that a COVID positive test came back at the Performance Center, either in NXT or the WWE, one of those shows tapings. I remember as a fan watching and saying, "Uh-oh, this isn't good." One goes to the next, and if they don't fix this, that roster could be shut down, and one of the only forms of entertainment on television could just stop. And I was worried about not just WWE. I was worried about AEW and all the promotions because you know what? Everybody was trying to entertain people at home and they were doing their best, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, how did things change?
I mean, I don't remember the first cases, but I remember when there was the first outbreak.
Yes.
Right. And maybe this was April or May, maybe a little later on. And it felt like there was a panic within the company, right? There was like a panic, like, what do we do now? What do we do? Everybody has to get tested now. So we had done like 3 or 4 days of tapings, right? Like a month worth of taping. So everybody was coming in and out of that building. And the next day, literally the entire company, every superstar you can think of, got in line at the Performance Center and had to be tested. It was crazy.
Yeah.
We're
just us to Ric Flair,
dude. Ric Flair, Christian, Renee,
everybody.
And that's when you realize like there's a hierarchy in wrestling, right? Like the superstars and the underneath guys. But when you're in that situation and you're all in line waiting to get a swab up your nose, you're all just people.
Yeah.
And you're in the same certain time, right? Like nobody knows. Everybody's a little nervous, maybe scared,
And like it's just like you were saying, like
even Sasha Banks.
Even Sasha Banks, yes. It was you're just ready for everything to shut down at any time. You're just sitting there waiting for, am I going to TV? Okay, we're doing TV, but are we going to do TV? You just didn't know. You had to go everything day to day. And the company itself was trying to figure it out as we went along day to day. Like new rules would come in, they'd be switched up in a day.
I remember, so Florida was pretty much shut down, right? Like everybody else, it gets a bad reputation, but for the most part, those first 2 months it was shut down. But WWE were considered an essential business. So we got like this sheet, like a write-up. Basically, like if you're out past 5 p.m. or whatever, if you get pulled over by the police, you have to show them this special permission.
Yeah, you had an essential worker form. Yeah.
Really? So if anybody stopped you, you said, hey, no, I'm an essential worker.
I'm telling you, we finish our tapings 10, 11, 12 at night. you drive home. It is
Ghost
a
town.
ghost. I mean, I'm sure everybody dealt with this in Canada.
Yeah.
You know,
So what was the longest day that you had to do? Because at some point, obviously, they took the talent from NXT, and that talent became the so-called crowd, right? Some of the most famous scenes that we remember is Rey Mysterio losing his eye, and
the eyeball match.
Take his eye.
yeah, and people smashing on the glass.
The glass.
Yeah.
Funny story. Here's a story for you.
For the glass. So obviously they put up plexiglass.
Here's the thing. You can't put me in front of a plexiglass and not expect me to pound on it.
As growing up as a hockey fan, I'm gonna hit the glass. So one of the first times we do it, we start, let's go. We're pounding on the glass.
And then a voice comes over the loudspeaker. Please don't pound on the glass. And it's just like, well, what do you want from me? We're trying to make noise and just from a television standpoint, this is better for your show.
But when they broke it down to us, when we talked to some of the production guys, it's because they literally slapped together those things overnight. And they're like, it's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, but
eventually
so it breaks. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
So it breaks.
So that was the thing about it. So there was no pounding on the glass. So we laid low for a little bit and then started pounding on the glass.
So here's the funny thing. Like the next taping, they're like, okay, you guys have to pound on the glass.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah,
you're welcome.
Is it a good question here? What was the most amount of times that they yelled "cut" during one of your matches any of the matches?
You don't even know. Like WWE got into the habit during the pandemic of literally, like, if something happened in a match that they didn't like, it would literally be, all right, let's do that again. Can we do that again?
It turned into filming a movie.
It turned into a movie
or a TV show or what have you, where you can get the perfect shot now.
Yeah,
because you're not in front of a live audience.
So ultimately, like, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, there's an organicness to wrestling not being perfect in a presentation, which makes it look good. Like, look, if it's something that just goes completely off the rails, all good. But it became to where it was so many things.
There was this one night where, I don't want to throw the guys under the bus. I'm not, right? But these poor guys, it was Otis and Baron Corbin. And they had to redo their match like 3 times or specific spots. And it was just, you felt so bad for these guys, you know, because whatever they were looking for, who knows, right? But it wasn't being delivered.
It happened. Dude. It happened to us. Like, we're doing matches on 205 and they'd stop it and then you pick it up and then you stop it again. And it's just such a weird thing to experience because we don't have a crowd. So your adrenaline isn't there yet. So it does take a while when you get into a match. Finally, you know, you get whacked a few times. Like, okay, I'm awake. Here we go. We're in it. We're in it. But everything hurts a little bit more because there's no adrenaline.
Oh, those first bumps. It's just a thud.
Awful.
It's brutal.
And then you're in it. You're all right. Here we go. I got stop.
And then you're like, what happened? Did we do something wrong? What, like, am I getting fired? What happened? You know?
And then you get explanations, and now you got to go back into that feeling because you're picking up a shot.
You're literally just picking up, and you have to, the placement of everything has to be the same, right? Yeah, it's exactly, I mean, what I would imagine a movie set would be.
100%.
Is there more risk of an injury at that point, or did you see people get injured because they were doing?
I mean, it's funny you bring that up, right? Because so Edge and Randy Orton have that match, like a 45-minute match or whatever, main event of a pay-per-view. I can't remember which one.
Backlash.
And
was it Backlash?
I don't know.
It's the greatest wrestling match.
So they do the match, 45 minutes long, and then they decide, match over, high fives, hugs. They bring them back out now to get some cinematic shots. And that's how Edge ends up tearing his pec or hurts his shoulder or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you cool down and you don't stretch and you're not up and you just work for 45 minutes. And then you got to go get this one shot that they didn't even end up using anyway. And he ends up getting hurt. What's going on?
Jillian got me. Just checking through the comments. Parker, 2 minutes for boarding for slamming on the glass. That really got me. That was funny.
Yeah. So I mean, risks of injuries right there. Did Steven Spielberg direct one of your did Steven Spielberg direct you guys into a fight?
Sometimes it felt like it.
I mean, it certainly felt like it.
Sometimes it felt like it.
Felt like we had Steven Spielberg expectations on 205 Live.
Yeah.
You know?
Look at this one. I've seen more redos at tapings at Full Sail.
That's funny.
It happened.
It does happen.
They got into in a bit of a habit. Like, it got to the point where, like, oof, when we go back to live crowds, it's gonna be an adjustment again because you had that safety.
It's like they took it for granted. Like, oh, we can just cut here.
Yeah.
You know?
So So speaking about getting back into live crowds, AEW went in a complete different direction where they kept that outside atmosphere. They took the wrestlers, they brought them around the ring. Those wrestlers really created an atmosphere where, I mean, I remember watching it saying, "Oh, there's a difference between AEW. They changed the camera angle, the hard cam, everything."
Yep.
I noticed it right off the bat. Like, did guys and the gals and in the WWE and NXT, did you notice what they were doing and say, "Hey, I wish I could be in that situation right there and then," or "I wish we would change it to be more like that," or were you happy with what you were doing?
I think the company absolutely took notice. Like WWE took notice of what AEW was doing, because I don't know if you remember, but that first week of pandemic wrestling, WWE was facing.
It was regular,
like there would have been people there, but it's just empty seats, right? But when AEW did Dynamite, they had it facing the entranceway, and it looked much better. And the next week, WWE made that adjustment, right? And it was clearly because they watched AEW and thought it looked better.
Yeah,
and it did.
It did.
And having the wrestlers like go and do fan work was something that we adopted as well. Like,
thanks for that, AEW.
First times we did 205 Live in the empty PC, it's literally empty.
It was empty, like completely empty.
And it was strict rules other than the cameraman, the announcers, and the referee and the timekeeper. Everyone else has to be away from ringside. So there's not even somebody standing out of the camera shot.
Guys, no noise.
None.
There was
It wasn't even piping in crowd noise either.
No.
That came like with the greatest wrestling match ever.
A pin drop.
Yeah.
A pin drop. You would take these bumps and then you'd look around, you're like, "Oh, there's nobody here. I'm just in a warehouse. I'm in a factory taking bumps," but it's on national TV.
Yeah.
That is wild.
So
at what point are you told, okay, we're now bringing, the NXT team in, they're going to be you're going to be the background noise for Raw and for SmackDown?
Yeah, it was probably like May, June. It was a couple months.
I think it was June.
Yeah, maybe it was June. It was a couple months after. And then we had full days. We would be there from 8 a.m. until midnight.
Yep.
And they would just film episode after episode after episode, right? Like 2 Raws and 2 SmackDowns, 205 and main event, You know what's funny? So we were on 205 Live at this point. So we would do 205 Live first thing, and then we'd have to go be in the crowd for SmackDown right after.
Yeah.
Wow.
And sometimes it would say 205 Live's you're gonna film after SmackDown. So you're like, okay, cool.
Oh,
we get to the building at like 10, and then they go, "Oh no, we're gonna film it
before."
So you're like, "Oh, okay, cool." So you rush up to the locker room, start getting ready. Like, we're gonna start probably about 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Absolute chaos, guys.
It gives you an hour or 2 hours to just get changed, figure something out, get warmed up, and go. And then as you're getting changed, they come up and go, "Are you guys ready to go for like noon?"
Yeah, I got 15 minutes here. I remember there was one night we had we were filming 2 episodes of 205. Okay, we're supposed to do one before and then one after, and we're on both of them.
Yeah.
And this is maybe an hour before we're supposed to tape the first episode, and they go, "Okay, guys, we're going to be filming both episodes now, back to back. Good luck."
Yeah.
So we had to finish planning our original match and then plan a second match, and these matches went back to back.
Yeah. So we literally do first match, come to the back, get about 5 minutes,
if that,
put the ring jacket back on, right back out
for the next episode. It was
wild.
It was madness.
Wild.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to know this, and you don't have to disclose the names at all, because I don't want to put you guys in the spot. But was there an outbreak or someone who got COVID, or I don't want to say someone, but was there an outbreak that they hid that we didn't know about, but definitely something happened and Meltzer or nobody knew about, and everybody kept it hush hush?
I mean, maybe that doesn't ring a bell, honestly. Like anytime there was an outbreak, it was pretty much reported.
Yeah, because I feel like when things kind of the word does travel pretty quickly in wrestling.
It's like everybody wants something to be salacious, right? Like, ooh, the company's hiding something. They don't want to get shut down. Well, like, obviously the company's not going to go out of their way to advertise that there was an outbreak. You know what I mean? We're trying to keep the government happy over here. Let them know that it's a safe, I keep saying but they want the government to know that it's a safe place to work. They're not, making things worse.
Like, I think there were those couple of major outbreaks, and those were reported, but it would happen almost in pockets more than outbreaks. Like, so it would be like, you know, this group of people, someone was in here, so they would bench everybody, whether they have a negative test or not. It would be like, oh, if you were in trace contact with this person, if you were like at TV or on the same show or something like that, you would have to be sat out for 2 weeks. So there was kind of more of that than there were mass outbreaks, even though there were a couple where, I mean, and it's only going to happen when you're trying to continue running through something going like this. Like, there's no way.
You're just figuring it out. Nobody knows what they're doing, right? You're figuring it out as you go. You're calling it in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of, I don't know, a lot of these dirt sheets and these so-called YouTube reporters saying, "Oh, WWE is not doing their job."
Are you a YouTube reporter?
Yeah. And I remember sitting there listening to these people, and I'd be like, "Well, I mean, they're trying to operate during a pandemic. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're doing everything that they can. I mean, anybody could probably do more and be as safe as you can, but what you're dealing with the disease that you just don't know that you're sick, and then all of a sudden someone else can get sick. Like, I mean, how do you prevent that?
And the more as the days and weeks went on, WWE got implemented stricter measures. You know what I mean? With as it pertains to masks and things like social distancing, things like that. They changed the entire way they do catering.
Oh yeah,
catering was not like before. It was just like buffet style. You go, get your food and you go eat. And now it was like individual meals.
Yeah. So you just walk up and they give you a little tinfoil thing, and there's your meal. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So at a certain point, I mean, they didn't probably want things getting out because they're looking at their competition. How does that happen? Like, do they sit down with the talent, everybody together, and say, "Okay, folks, we know that we're going through something right now. Nobody can talk to media, no one can talk to this. Please do not tell anybody what is going on." Like, how does that conversation happen?
I don't think
management
it ever
say that to you.
No, I don't think it ever really happened.
Oh,
but
there was a couple times it did. Oh yeah, a couple. I remember Hunter saying, "What happens in here stays in here." Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was at Full Sail.
Yeah. There wasn't main roster, but it was NXT.
Yeah.
There was definitely a meeting like that, and I don't know if it was as it pertains to COVID or about like spoilers for I can't really remember,
because we're taping like 2 or 3 episodes a day, so it's
and sometimes like word would leak of what happened, like a big title change or something, and that would upset them.
That famous one with Keith Lee. Yes,
there you go. Right, that was just an accident, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, were you guys there for that when that happened?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, someone took a picture of that, and
it's funny. I remember they specifically said, I think that was the day of the meeting. So right? Remember this way it was just a comedy of errors. Yeah, we had a big meeting, and he goes, "Look, this is going to be a big moment for the company, a changing of the guard or whatever. Please don't let this get out."
Yeah,
and I guess one of the guys who was a foreigner, maybe there was something got lost in translation. And when Keith Lee wins the belt, he's taking a picture and he posted it right on Twitter, like immediately. I don't know if he thought it was live. Maybe he didn't realize it was a taped event. I don't know.
So it was an accident.
It was 100% an accident.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad because the next week, and English, obviously, he's Indian, right? So English not his first language.
And an absolute sweetheart,
dude. I think he's a huge star over there too, like a movie star.
Yep.
So he got up and spoke in front of the entire group, apologizing to us. And it was like, I felt so bad for the guy, Wow. He's up there trying to talk, and like, he knows he messed up, and it was wild, right? You remember that?
Yeah, it was really something. You felt bad for the guy.
Are we supposed to read these comments? There's a comment.
Yeah, I'm going to read this right now. Do you think there were more instances of reshoot moments than pre-COVID because subsequently wrestlers knew there would be reshoots and they weren't as crisp? That's a very good question.
I think there is, because that pressure does come off, because you do know you have a safety net. So you're like, oh, if we don't hit this perfectly the first time, they're going to say cut and we will redo it.
But at the same time, a lot of the reshoots weren't necessarily for something not being crisp. Or, I mean, while that did happen,
no, but I'm just saying, I felt like okay, that there was always that.
But it was a lot more looking for the perfect shot. Like, they didn't get the perfect angle on a dive,
or your facial expression or something, or if you're doing a promo, can you put this inflection on these words?
Yeah. So it was a lot more perfecting, and I guess in a way I can understand, because you're like, you don't have the distraction of the crowd, so everything has to be perfect, which I mean it doesn't, but that's kind of where you go when you have that ability to control it a little.
What was the question?
It was
I don't remember.
What
was this question?
Whether we thought that there's more reshoots.
More reshoots. I mean,
I think that could have like subconsciously happened for sure.
And certainly with no live crowd there, you're not as engaged. It's impossible.
So here's a question for you. Do you think that, like I'll give you an example, Kevin Owens, for example, or Sami Zayn, any of those guys. Do you think that they became better wrestlers because they had to, and yourselves, you became better because you had to become better in that environment, and then when the fans are back, well, you are just that much more crisp.
That's a good question. I don't know if it had any bearing. I don't know if I felt better or worse. And also, it's just different because you aren't listening to the people, you're not reacting to them, so it's way different. But I don't know if it necessarily made us better.
You also come from the indies where we've done shows in front of like
that's a good
5
point.
or 10
That's
people.
A good point.
So in a weird way, I think I would rather have an empty arena than 10 people.
I think it does force you to get more creative sometimes.
It certainly
right?
does.
Like especially those big pay-per-view matches, the stuff that they had to do to keep the audiences interested at home,
Because you can't rely on the moments that you'd get from a large audience.
Right.
Like, if a heel does something, if I do something crappy here, I'm going to get booed, so we'll soak that up a little. You don't have that.
Yeah.
So you do have to kind of rethink your strategy of what you're doing a little bit. And it's a completely different feeling.
So let's change gears here and talk about the let's talk about the ThunderDome.
ThunderDome.
So I give credit where credit is due. I think the WWE put together something, and I'm not sure. I mean, you had your version of the ThunderDome, obviously, in NXT and 205 Live. But the ThunderDome and having those screens, they were really. I mean, that was the closest possible thing to the real setting you can get to fans. At that
it felt like a live video game.
So we did get to go, like 205 was filmed before SmackDown, right? Last summer.
At the Amway.
Yeah, at the Amway Center here where the Orlando Magic plays. So we did get to do that a bunch. And I remember the first time it feeling so weird. Like I remember thinking I didn't have the answer. If I looked at the screen, can this person see that I'm looking at them?
Right.
I didn't it didn't dawn on me that they were just watching like the hard cam, or whatever, right? Like so these are things you have to figure out.
But you walked into it and it was like, wow, okay, this feels sort of normal. Like it's still not
so strange,
but it still had that feeling of okay, I'm in something now, instead of it just being like I'm just wide open and almost naked. Like okay, there's an environment here a little bit. Especially the first week, I remember we did it. They weren't doing crowd noise yet, and then they started piping in the crowd noise.
The piping in of the crowd noise. I don't know if you can hear me. The piping in of the crowd noise in a giant arena, right? It's a 20,000 seater with nobody in it except for a bunch of screens. There was almost like a delay because they would try to time the reactions to what you did in the ring. And there was this weird delay to the reaction. And you're like, oh, am I getting heat?
By the end of the ThunderDome, they figured that timing out perfectly.
They did.
Like the 1, 2, 3, when a ref is counting, like they nailed that timing. It was an adjustment period.
It threw me off. I remember feeling it like thrown off from it a little bit.
Yeah. We have a comment over here. I read that the ThunderDome at the NXT was recycled video from other shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. That wasn't like people watching at home. That was recycled people.
Wow.
Yeah, because I would imagine it's a cost thing, right?
It's got to be.
I don't know.
Yeah, and full, 100%. My daughter, she was a guest on SmackDown. She sat down, she watched it, right, and
that's awesome.
It was, you had the producer in the ear saying, okay, cheer for this person, boo over here like this.
Right.
And literally she got she did it. She had a sign. I mean, it was interesting to be part of that. Right.
So when we were fans, when we had to do the fan duty, that's exactly what it was. Like, cheer this guy. All right, guys, Drew's our champion. Can you cheer a little louder for him?
Yeah.
That type of stuff,
Did it feel a little bit weird being a wrestler than having to be told to cheer for Drew or something like that? Like,
I mean, you know your role. You work for this company, and that's what they asked you to do that day. So yeah, what am I going to say? No, that's your job that day.
And it's
you know what
so
I mean?
important.
They're paying me to be there. Yeah,
and it's so important to try and give this. We're all working through this, you know. So I look at it this way: if I go out and I'm standing there as a fan, if I try and give these guys working something, hopefully when I'm out there, someone's going to kind of return the favor for me, you know. So it's
to me, it was just like this is the company that we work for, and we want to put on the best product possible. So if us being in there cheering helps that come across on television, if it makes the product more enjoyable for people at home,
if we're doing something
that's
fun,
what we're trying to do.
There was like
right?
Rick Boogs, for example, would just go out there and lose his mind, and there'd be always gifts of him and stuff like that, and people would take notice. So at least it gave you that feel of, oh, people are having fun while watching this, so I'm having fun too, maybe. But
so who would you say was the, you know, one superstar that was thrived in this environment, and then another superstar who this was the worst thing that possibly can happen?
Oh, that's a good question. You mean like the wrestlers themselves, like who as performers?
Yeah,
I'd have to think about that. Who thrived?
Sheamus
thrived
in this ThunderDome because he just decided
because his clubs and stuff, like you heard it so much. It was so much louder.
He just brought the physicality, like that something was needed. Like I'm gonna have fights. I'm going to have fights.
I'm trying to think who it hurt, like off the top of my head. I know there's somebody who's like, oh, this isn't, you know what I mean? But
because of their style or something, right? Like,
yeah, like there's something about it. Like who had big debuts in ThunderDome? And I was like, oh, can you imagine if that was in front of people? You know
Bianca Belair. I mean, she had a really big one.
Right. Like those Royal Rumble moments. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Or Drew, that WrestleMania where who did he beat? Did he beat Goldberg or he beat
Brock?
He beat Brock, right?
Brock,
like this moment is just, I mean, it'll be on a DVD or something someday.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like,
he's the one guy as a wrestling fan that I am shocked that the WWE has not given him the opportunity to wear that belt, even if it's for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it would be, because he was the pandemic champion. He did everything
for sure.
Yeah,
just to give him that pop, winning the belt, and then take it away a week later if you want to. That's fine. I
mean, who's to say he won't? Though
I'm sure it's going to come.
Say he won't.
You got to rebuild to something else again now, right? I mean, you have two great dominant heel champions, so you kind of run like
who's to say
Bobby with his first one. So
I'm thinking of AEW, like Pandemic Wrestling, like you had Matt Hardy's debut. Can you imagine if that was in front of a full house, right?
Yeah.
Coming off the broken character, you know,
and then obviously Luke Harper. I mean,
Brody, you know,
Brody Lee.
And there's a couple others. Sure.
Yeah, I mean that's so sad. I mean they were scheduled to go literally in his hometown, right? Like, and then it got shut down. And then so this is a really good segue into what is going on right now. So the big fear in the U.S. right now, obviously we got the Delta variant.
The big variant.
The variant. There's many different variants. So the big fear right now is that even though, you know, the selective states where they are in right now, WWE and AEW and Impact as well, where they are literally doing shows that because of the CDC and all these different health advice, that they're not going to be able to do shows anymore inside, and they may have to go back to either a performance center, or AEW may have to go back to Jacksonville, where the rules are a little bit more, constrained to what.
Yeah, I think your Floridas and your Texas and your southern states are probably going to stay open, just like it did. They're the first to open. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think but like for something like they have some Chicago dates coming up. You know what I mean?
This is what they're saying, right? The Chicago date right now, they're saying that this could be, you know, right now on the 20th, where they expect CM Punk to be back in.
I mean, come on, Chicago, just
do it.
Come on. What are we doing? You know what I mean?
But could you imagine? Could you imagine they sell almost 20,000 tickets, and then all of a sudden, we can't do it, or it can only be a 50% capacity.
Yeah,
that would be disappointing. You know what I mean? And I could see it happening.
Of course, and if it happens, it's going to happen. Wrestling,
I really
clearly proved that it's going to find a way.
Yeah,
so
nothing's going to stop.
It will find a way.
So I'm going to ask you guys something personal, and you don't have to answer it, but I'm going to ask.
What are you putting us on the hot seat, Aaron?
I'm putting you on the special seat here. You're going to be a dad soon. Probably this is the last time people are going to see you on video, live, I should say, before you are a father. So this is pretty exciting. Eh?
Yeah.
You never know. 1 centimeter. That's, it's getting there. So did either of you contract COVID while you were at NXT?
Oh yeah.
We actually lasted a long time.
Yeah, we lasted a whole year without getting COVID. We're like, we're immune. COVID, no problem.
All good. Canadian healthcare saved us. All that years of stalking free Canadian healthcare.
Dude, we were in that performance center so much. We're like, we must have had it, and we just didn't even know. You know what I mean? How can we survive all these outbreaks?
Yeah,
and just never got it. We wrestled people who had COVID. Yep. You know what I mean?
Like test positive, like a few days later, because it happens. It's lasted a long time, and then
in March, end of March,
I had it for my birthday.
Yeah, we both ended up getting COVID. Yeah.
Did it take a hit out of you guys, or?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but
a couple of days.
Well, you're athletic. I mean, you're both healthy.
It was like you got sick. Yeah. I got sick. Yeah. I got sick.
Lost
and then,
taste and smell.
But here's the other thing. Like, if there wasn't a pandemic going on and that had happened to me, this is just my experience. Like, and I had a job and we're construction workers or whatever. Like, I'm taking an Advil. I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Like, it would have never stopped me from going to work under normal circumstances.
If you don't know, like, if it's not a pandemic, like, I just feel like I got a bug.
Yeah, I got a bug,
but it just was normal. Everyone used to go to work with colds all the time.
Yeah, it's just what you did.
Yeah. Not using a sick day.
Not using a sick day.
Use a sick day to go to the beach.
Yeah, you just don't want to go to the office where you're like, hey, there's Ric Flair and everybody.
Big difference.
Plane crash, everything else. We just want to be very extra. That's the one thing as a fan. I was always sitting there wondering. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of guys, and they kept bringing people in the WWE.
Rick was always there.
The thing about Ric Flair, okay, and God, you just gotta love him. He was just thrilled to be involved and thrilled to be there. He's like, I made it this far.
Yeah,
like whatever. Like, come get me. Like, you know what I mean? He just loved it. He wanted to be there.
Going back to when we did that first mass test where everybody was there, I remember Rick went in a few people in front of us, and he came out back out the front door, and he went, "Woo! I did it, boys!" It was amazing. Yes. It was just
we were in line with Ric Flair and Charlotte and Andrade were there. Yeah,
Rick's the man.
So this is good over here. Sick day to go to Disney.
Exactly. That's what you're using your sick days for.
Yeah. Sick day. Got to go to Disney. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about wrestling with COVID. We've talked about other promotions. So at this point, we've had this conversation before where, things are getting back to normal. All of a sudden, obviously the release happens. You're watching now. You're watching your brothers and sisters now wrestle in front of people. Man, that's got to suck. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. That's just you just went through a year of honest to goodness hell. And then all of a sudden, the light at the end of the tunnel, you're just standing there.
Not so much.
What are you going to do? So I mean, I made this analogy a couple times. Like watching WWE, it's like watching your ex-girlfriend right now.
Yeah,
right? It's like watching your ex-girlfriend, and everybody's having a great time. Like, you're at the club, and you see your ex-girlfriend over there in the corner, and then she's having a grand old time with some other boys. You know what I mean? Like, and her friends. Like, you don't want to.
She broke up with you.
Yeah, so she broke up with you.
You're still carrying that a little bit. It'd be great to be in that, and we will soon. It's not going to be long. It's really not going to be long until we're back in front of people again. So it's just timing. It's all good.
Yeah. Good big question coming up here from Wrestling Scoop. When do your non-competes end?
The non-compete ended July 25th, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you are officially free agents.
We are free agents
right now. Okay.
And our emails are full.
Oh yeah, testing the free agency market, like the NHL.
Yeah, and one of the new segments we're going to have, I think moving forward, is going to be a scenario called, Book Me. And it's going to all be about the fans having the ability to book a program with you against other wrestlers and other promotions.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And, I hope we always win.
Yeah. You better be putting us over.
Well, maybe you just lose a lot, and then all of a sudden you overcome, and then you get to that spot, and then
that didn't really work out for us last time.
So for those who've been asking in the chat, we are still waiting for George. He just finished his hockey game, and
busy man.
he is going to come on as soon as hopefully he can get this message.
What is he taking a shower? What's he doing? What are you doing, George?
I think that's probably what they do after
icing your knees.
Big sweaty game, right?
What's he playing? Pickup hockey, like recreation? Does he have to wear a mask?
No, I'm going to ask him. That's a very good question. You'd think they put masks on everything else, right? Why not?
What do we got? You want to take some calls here? What do we got? Do we take
sure? Why don't we go that? So email us right now, theshowrules@gmail.com. Theshowrules@gmail.com. Why don't you come on the show right now and just shoot the breeze with Matt and Jeff, and if anything, wish Matt and his wife a very, very good luck.
Happy 1 centimeter.
I have not heard I haven't heard from Stacy. Stacy, if you're watching, I love you. We're thinking of you. You know,
she must still be pregnant.
Let's hold it in a little bit.
Okay? Come on, got a show to do here.
Yeah, Steve, slap the show rules on the water. Come on, guys.
He's all right. I mean, we got it on the cup here. Yeah. Steve, you have your cup at home. Matt and Jeff show up on AEW Dark. Kills Chaos Project. Hey,
there's booking.
Is he a booker?
I mean,
I don't know, but this
kill is a strong word.
It is strong, you know. Well, I mean, small package victory.
Okay, if that's killing, then
package victory. Yeah, I could see you guys on AEW, absolutely, right? And I already have a way of booking it. So in my head, we're going to do that the next show. We're going to go over that.
Yeah, of course. We'd love to be at AEW. You know what I mean? Sure. We'd love to be at Impact. We'd love to be MLW, AIW.
T-Bird saying his wife was at 1 centimeter for 2 weeks. Just
saying. And that could happen. Exactly. That's what the OBG told us today.
Could be hanging on.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Absolutely. We have John who's going to come on the show, and I'm just sending him over the link
John.
right now. John.
What do we got here, John?
John, we just sent you the link. Come on the show. Come on the show. Come on the show.
We're waiting for George. Big George.
Yeah. Big George and John will be coming on the show momentarily.
Well, you're here. You know, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, guys, like and subscribe.
I forgot about that.
Please,
I'm a terrible host here.
Aaron, come on.
I'm a terrible.
What do we pay you for?
Absolutely.
Get yourself a shirt. You know, there's mugs. All of this honestly really helps out the show. Like, we're just taking everything we're getting right now and just putting it back into this, trying to
more ring lights.
More ring lights. You can never have enough ring lights.
And there's also going to be some major guests coming on the show the next several weeks. We were supposed to have someone. Well, we're gonna have someone today. Hopefully, he's out of his his hockey game. But we do have a couple of other folks that are going to come on, and it's going to be really, really interesting because it's not. I mean, this is a wrestling show, but two sports athletes. And then we're going to be introducing other elements to this program. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and to get people really involved. So
it's quite the project.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You know.
Behind the show.
And then once again, if you're interested in being involved in the program, get involved now. Email us at theshowrules@gmail.com. Let us know if you're interested in volunteering. We've got already Brett and we already have Thomas that are helping us out, and their help is so appreciated in what they do. So we're so ecstatic that they are a part of this group.
We've got a great team. Got a great team, an all-star team here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just trying to think if we just had.
Here
we go. We got John. Let's bring John on the show. John,
welcome, buddy. There he is.
Oh yeah.
All right.
What's going on, buddy? Well, we can't hear you.
We can't hear a thing you're saying.
I don't read lips.
What is this? Oh boy, you need a chew, Johnny.
I did learn sign language though when I was watching "Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood," the Mr. Rogers movie.
Yeah, that's great.
This means friendship.
That's great.
Yeah. So
you got to tell somebody who cares.
Friend of the show.
This is like, what are we doing? John, can you hear us?
John, when you come in, you've got to turn the audio on.
You can hear us. All right. It's a nice red shirt you got. What do we got in the? Oh, he's the Wrestle Scoop.
There he is.
Yes, guys.
So, John, I'm going to put you on. I'm going to hide you on the stream, and then come back in with your audio. Okay? It's got to adjust it when you're coming in, and he'll come in. So you're saying, sorry, he's the.
What are you gonna do?
So hold on, we have Stacy Lee. I know that last name. Yeah, I'm beating the stray cats. I love you too. Hashtag still pregnant.
Post of the week. God. Right there. Comment of the week.
I tell you.
Stacey, that's amazing.
The amount of money on these stray cats. God bless.
How many cats do
the whole
have?
colony?
The whole colony. She even comes over here and feeds them.
Yeah, she does.
Crazy.
Really?
Yeah, she loves it. She loves it.
A saint.
But I'll tell you this: you do feel like you're making a difference in in the world. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it.
You know, I hosted a pet show for a long time, and we always would say the cat people are a little bit.
Hey, you don't talk about my wife that way. I'll tell you
Hey,
right
I'm
now.
not talking about your wife. I think your wife is amazing. I just think.
But you're not wrong.
I just think
Not wrong.
The whole cat thing, right? We're gonna go back to John. John, let's see if it's working right now. John, you
I
there?
think we are working
Yeah,
now.
there you go. Hey, welcome to the program.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that, guys. I
Don't
apologize.
apologize. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Technical difficulties are always so much fun, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm excited with everything, Matt and Jeff, that you guys have been doing here since before your release, and now obviously going through everything. It's been fun hearing all the different stories you've been talking about and just how you've been putting everything together. But let me ask you this: now that you've announced that your non-compete is over and your email box is full with offers and everything, do you have any dream tag teams that you want to face in the ring?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the compliments.
Oh, yeah.
You can never go wrong with compliments.
It's very nice.
Appreciate
Very
that.
sweet. You
I
know,
really
it's
do
compliment,
appreciate that.
compliment question.
That's cool.
That's how you do
That's
it.
how
There's
you
got to
set
be
it
a
up.
formula.
That's
You know,
It's a beautiful man, right?
Gotta butter 'em up.
Says it all the
Gotta
time.
butter 'em up.
Nice courtship.
Compliment question. That goes for everybody out there.
Figure
You're
it
coming
out.
on the show. It's compliment question.
Follow that formula or you're out. But there are a ton of teams out there. Like we mentioned earlier, we were talking about our first empty arena match was against the Good Brothers. I would love to get that one again.
Oh yeah. What
lot
about
of it-
the Juice Man and David Finlay?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Fin
You know, they
juice.
could talk, right?
Ooh, fin juice,
Right?
baby.
Yeah. Give me some of that. Give me some of that
some
fin
fin
juice,
juice.
ass.
All
Let's
day.
go. Yeah.
All day. I mean, literally, and a lot of them, we know we've wrestled with a lot of these teams before, so it'd be nice. We've said it before to do it now that we're all a bit more mature and we've all grown. Like we've wrestled the Young Bucks many a times. It'd be a lot of fun to do it again.
It would.
There's just a lot of teams out there that listen.
And-
the world is wide open, and we're looking forward to going out and seeing what's out there.
Oh yeah. How's that?
I love that. I would love to see a promo battle between you guys and the Acclaimed.
Oh, the
Absolutely.
Acclaim. Yeah, that was-
I would love to see what Max Caster would have to rap about you guys.
yeah,
It'd
me
be
too.
great.
You better not cut deep because I'll tell you right now.
mouth.
Yeah, you better watch your mouth,
Watch your
Mr.
mouth.
Caster. Tell you right now.
BB just said the Rock and Roll Express.
I would love a piece.
Oh.
I love a piece of the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes, please. You want to talk about dream match? That's the one.
You bring it on,
Nine-time
Ricky.
NWA World Tag Team Champions. There
Let's
you go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow. Billy
Absolutely.
Corgan's still on the NWA? Is
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Okay.
Love that.
Hey,
Product.
they've got a big show coming up in a couple of weeks in St. Louis.
Doesn't
The
matter.
73rd annual anniversary show, I believe it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that's
is.
right. Are they doing like a weekend or is it just one day?
It's 2 days, actually. They're doing
They have the
their
female
women's
show going
pay-per-view,
too,
the,
right? Yes.
the show that Mickey James is running.
Hour, yes.
They're doing that the first day, and then it's the anniversary show the next day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, John, what do you do with Wrestling Scoops?
WrestleScope, it's my YouTube
Sorry,
channel that I
WrestleScope.
Yeah, I
Nope,
called it
that's okay.
Scoops too. We
That's-
can't read over here, I guess.
That's okay.
Can't. Screen
Aaron,
small.
I forgive you. It's all right, man. No, WrestleScope is a channel that I actually started during the pandemic where I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling since I was just a wee little John. And I talk about just different things in the world of wrestling. I give my opinions, whether they're positive or negative. I just have a lot of fun with it. I try, breaking some news when I can that I get from other sources that are much more connected or smarter than I am.
What did you think of the match last night, Nick Gage and Chris Jericho?
I was interested in it going in. I'm not a huge fan of the deathmatch kind of matches, but based on the storyline that they're building here with MJF and Jericho, I thought it was really interesting, especially coming off of the show that they did about Nick Gage on Vice just a few weeks back.
Right.
I thought it was good. I think if they only do it as a real limited special attraction kind of thing, like maybe once a year have a match like that, I thought it was fine and it made sense. It made sense because of the storyline that they're building here.
Can't argue with any of that.
If we'd seen Nick Gage having a match like that next week on Dynamite,
I could see that for sure.
But he just had the one with Broski.
I was just going to say, Nick Gage in the news all week, right?
What a week for him. Like, this guy's been busting his ass for years doing this stuff, and it's nice to see that, whether you agree with what he does or not.
And I don't know.
Here's the question, though. Who was more nervous for the match, Nick Gage or Chris Jericho?
Jericho. Had to be Jericho.
You think?
But it's Nick Gage on a big stage, and I don't know if he's ever been on a stage like that before, right?
Not that I know.
You're in front of 6,000, 7,000 people on national television, the main event. All eyes are on you, and you know that, like, if you do well here, maybe this can lead to more down the line. Jericho's a seasoned vet, I don't know.
I agree with you. I'm sure probably Gage.
If you look at Nick Gage, though, and the way he was interacting with the fans at ringside last night, he was just soaking it up. He was taking it in. He was in his element. He loved it.
It was great to see. Yeah. It was really great to see.
He is a great redemption story. Seeing everything that he's gone through. He was literally at rock bottom in his life, and now look at where he's at. The last 2 months, anybody in the world of wrestling knows his name now. If you didn't know him before, you know him now. And that's great. Sure.
And it's really proof that you can overcome anything in life if you just keep at it, and you make the right choices. You could, turn it around.
Heck yeah.
Really
just like Drake Maverick over here, who just posted
where is Matt Camp? I thought this was the bump. Matt Camp's a bozo.
This isn't the bump, okay? Let me tell you right now. So, love Matt Camp.
Love Matt Camp.
You know what I mean?
Love Matt Camp. They talk about us all the time on the program.
Huge friend of the show.
Bought the shirt.
You think?
And this is the real Drake Maverick, by the way, right?
Yes, the real Drake Maverick.
Real Drake.
Is there a fake Drake Maverick?
I don't know if you want to.
You would think that we would have been able to get on the bump.
Never got the invite, John.
No,
John, we never got the invite. Never got the invite.
Maybe that we're not with the company anymore. Now we can get on.
RJ
the bump.
City's on.
That's another day.
Yeah,
let's do the underwear together. We'll do.
How about that, Matt Camp? Where are you at?
That is
funny. I want to know if Drake Maverick is actually in here. What was up with the little teases that he put on, I think it was Instagram or Twitter a couple of days ago, that he may be preparing for life outside of the WWE? Is that true?
Or did
who said
Stacey's 1 centimeter?
Journalism say that?
Yeah. Well, there's a guy over in England that runs a channel that loves talking about Drake Maverick that talked about it yesterday. And usually when they talk about stuff, they're usually right about it. They don't speculate too much, but
I mean, I think everybody's always preparing for a life outside of the big wig wrestling. You know what I mean?
And even if you're not preparing for it, we have creative outside projects to do too. Like, yes, you're limited when you're in WWE,
as long as they get a cut.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't work on your own stuff just for the fun of it, or back catalog your stuff. Like, so also with news sites, usually doesn't mean always. So everyone
Drake's a very, very good actor. So you can tell when you watch him. Yeah, a lot of good skills. Yeah. John, we appreciate you being on the show. Good luck with your own channel.
Guys, thank you very much.
What's the channel? Let everybody know.
It is WrestleScope TV. WrestleScope TV on YouTube. So please come check it out. I go live every Saturday afternoon.
Okay, it better be the afternoon.
Yeah. Don't compete
with the show.
Not the Saturday morning warrior.
No. That is your spot, guys. Not going to touch your spot. That's you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
John. Take it easy, man. It was great talking to you.
Good guy. We enjoy that very, very, very much. Oh, that's cool. He's got his own show. See, so many people created a type of, job, as you would say, because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah. So you have to do so. How many times can you watch Tiger King? You know what I mean? How many times can you watch the Tiger King?
That was the biggest thing in the world.
I do.
Wow, feels like a lifetime.
One last message to see if he's coming or not.
Carol Baskin.
We will go.
Is George putting a squeeze on us over here?
I don't know. That he must have scored at least one goal in his game. Right? So there we go on that.
Maybe we tape a little something. Don't worry about it, George.
Yeah. So you guys never got on the bump.
No, we never got on the bump. It's funny. Like they had us do like a happy birthday message for Kevin.
Yep.
talk about this all the time. I can't put our mug out there. They wear the T-shirt
all the time.
They would ask people about us, but never did a watch along for Survivor Series. But never once on the bum.
Never once on the bum.
And I'll tell you right now, it feels personal.
I think so.
It feels personal.
I think so.
What's the video game one? Up, up, down, down?
Yeah, up, up, down, down.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, I'm not a big, not big into video games.
No.
I play NHL 20 over and over and over.
I went out with Blades of Steel. That was
for me.
But people love streaming. People like Twitch and video game streaming.
Yeah,
it's huge. Maybe we get a Twitch going. You know,
hey,
Aaron, you want to Twitch with us?
Yeah.
Well, I'll Twitch with you any night of the week, right? So,
really, love that one right up there. Yeah?
Maybe we do Twitch. I don't know.
We're gonna give George 5 more minutes, and if he doesn't come on, then we will push him to the maybe another week.
Cool.
So once again, if you would like to come on the show, it's at theshowrules@gmail.com, and all you do is come on just exactly like John did. That was actually a really cool call.
That was an awesome call. Now, guys, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I wasn't checking the stream over here for a little bit, so that was cool. It was nice to see that Drake called you boys out, which was really neat. And
I mean, we've had our run-ins with Drake Maverick. You know, he's a real a dirtbag, the real dirtbag, a real English dirtbag,
real piece of work.
Well, it must have been tough for him. So, pandemic came back. He worked during the pandemic. Obviously, there was that whole issue that he had, and he managed to get back in, which was awesome. But he couldn't go back. I mean, he couldn't travel. What was the travel restrictions like for you guys? I mean,
we haven't seen our families in nearly 2 years at this point. You know what I mean?
Oh my
God. And we have friends who have children. You know, nieces and nephews that I haven't seen who were the last time I saw them were 6 months old, and now they're 2 years old. You know, 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And you're just not part of their lives. You know what I mean? Like my wife's about to give birth, and who knows when Jack's gonna get to see his grandparents. You know what I mean?
You miss a lot. Like we were saying, we haven't been home since Christmas
2019.
So it's almost 2 years, and at least things for the time being we're looking like they're kind of loosening up a bit. But it's still so uncertain. We still don't know. So it sucks. It really sucks, especially being a foreigner away from your family.
Especially like you have these ideas like plans. People were gonna come and visit this and that. And they'd go to the shows. They would come to the Wednesday night shows and stuff. And that just never got to happen.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because of the pandemic.
No, haven't had. We had like everyone was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come and visit exactly that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So my wife and I were like, oh, we're definitely going to get a 2-bedroom to have set up a full guest room.
That's right. You got an extra room.
Full guest room.
And now it's
my
a studio.
sister-in-law stayed there once, and now it's a studio.
It worked out.
Make do.
It worked out.
Victor writes in, was your stuff actually sold out at the time that they just didn't keep up with the demand? Do they track who's pulling merch better?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so I was probably talking about our T-shirt selling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely
did sell out
100%.
So at first they were like print on demand, right? So you put the order in, they print the T-shirt, they send it to you. But then at some point we had sold so many and they had to stock them.
Yeah.
And then the first week that they started stocking our T-shirts, they sold out. It was legit.
So that was legit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you to the friends of the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
Well, listen, I want to thank everybody who came in on the chat today. I apologize about George not coming on. But we are going to, we'll rebook him because I've been messaging him back and forth. So I'm sure he's just probably ran into a 3-on-3 in the overtime. It's got to be, right?
I don't even know what that means.
Yes, I don't know either. But we have a couple of other big guests lined up in the next couple of weeks, and I think the audience is going to be really great. We've also introduced Facebook tonight. I'm not sure if we set it up correctly though, because I haven't been able to get any messages on Facebook.
I'm pretty sure I saw it streaming though.
We did, but I wasn't able to get Facebook messages on the chat. So as you can see on the bottom, it says all messages except Facebook. So I have no idea how many people are watching this stream on Facebook, which is disappointing because Facebook is a pretty big deal when it comes to wrestling. There's a lot of
Facebook putting a squeeze on the little guy over, putting a squeeze on us all the time.
So we will fix this. I promise you that we will fix it. Also, we are going to start streaming live on Twitch as well as Twitter and LinkedIn. So we are going to go coast to coast. We are going to get every business, every CEO, they're going to get a little bit of the chew. Right. So I'm excited for that. Right.
We're going to get chew out. Maybe get some sponsors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Coffee.
I like that there, boys. Hey, that's pretty good. There's so much stuff in the chat, and we promise. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in once again being a moderator, we could really use the help. This has been great. We have tons of people that are on the chat every single time that we do the show. It's only the second time, and we want to make sure that we can moderate and everybody gets a chance to have their stuff being thrown in on the chat, which is great. Black Bull Pete says sellouts. Yeah, probably.
I mean,
and then
great. Yeah, like of course. Who's not selling out?
Selling out? We're buying in.
Here's a bag of money.
We are buying in, as they say, right? And a good message from Brandon says the show.
Go, Brandon.
We appreciate that, Brandon.
Compliment question.
Yes. Okay, folks. Well, listen. I'm pretty sure that Stacy's going to have the baby any day, and she'll probably bring 2 or 3 cats with her when she's having the baby, right? Little kid.
Gotta believe.
Hey, we're ready to go. We're just waiting here. Let's go, Jack.
Maybe we'll have coverage of the birth on the channel.
Coverage of the birth.
That'll be a Twitch you don't want to miss.
There you go. Can you host the coverage of the birth, Aaron?
Live broadcast of the birth.
It might be the first in history.
And she's crowning it. Now she's dominated. Oh, like there is it's what do they call it? They call it the bloody show, right?
Oh wow! Wasn't that an episode of Game of Thrones?
What they call it. So I got 2 kids. They call it the bloody show.
The bloody
show.
The
bloody
all
show.
New meaning to the hardcore death match of blood and guts.
Hey now,
I'm coming to the channel.
Coming to the channel.
This show has gone off to a crazy ending. I like it. I like it. It's about to be
live birth.
Yes. Why is my 9-year-old daughter laughing, going ha 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 ha? You have no idea, Avery, what we're talking about.
Shouldn't you be in bed, Avery? What is happening?
She probably is in bed right now, laughing, and she has no idea what we're talking about.
Go to sleep, Avery.
Yes.
Go to sleep.
Although she really loved that a video that she got the other day, and there was someone on that video who had a beautiful little cat named Cheeto, and it was cute. Really, really cute. So she was walking around talking about Cheeto all day. So we like that. And
Cheeto is very fat.
Looks like you got a cat lady on your hands, Aaron.
I don't know if you're watching. I don't know if you're watching.
Cheeto is very fat. I like
fat cat.
Like
a little diet.
Needs a little bit of a diet. Yeah. Maybe off the catnip.
There you go. So it's been a great night. Actually, I had a lot of fun tonight. So we are going to get back to you. Hopefully, we'll be able to do the show next week, as long as Stacy is.
We're going to be having a show.
Yeah.
Okay,
one way or another.
Live.
We're going to have a show. I'm going to call in if I can't be here live. There's no question about it, guys.
This isn't radio. You don't call hold the thing up like this.
We don't have a hotline.
The show must go on.
The show must go on, guys. We're here for you every Thursday night
and Saturday.
Oh yeah, boom.
And whatever stories are coming out all over the place, almost every day.
And the Saturday show, I can't wait to see that, as I always do. I love watching that show every Saturday morning.
Best way to kick off your weekend.
Oh yeah,
it is. And remember, if you live in Ontario, it is a long weekend this week. And I want to say one thing. Tomorrow is my 10-year wedding anniversary with my wife. So
wow, congratulations. This
10 years. Got a nice little gift for her, and we're going for a nice dinner tomorrow. So
is it a cameo from us?
Yeah.
It is a cameo from you.
She's
going to get checked out.
Get a t-shirt.
She's going to get the chew of the week, right?
She gets the chew of the week.
Perfect.
Perfect. Oh, that can go many different ways.
That's good.
Let's end it on the Twitch.
Yeah.
The Twitch and the chew. It's good.
Twitch and the chew.
As long as my daughter doesn't write anything down, then we're all good. Okay, folks. For Matt and for Jeff, my name is Aaron Amadeus. Email us once again at theshowrules@gmail.com. You want to be a part of the show. If you want to get involved in the show, if you want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. And we cannot wait. Follow us on Twitter. Smash the subscribe button. We come out with videos, content all the time. It's always a blast to produce some content for you. And once again, watch these guys over here now, because in the next bit, they're going to be on a major television set, and you're going to be watching them there.
Thank you, friends of the show. We love yous. Applause to you.
Have a great night, everyone.
Next week.